All right, at-home practice problems 2, 4D. So this one says solve the following systems of linear equations using substitution. So we're going to use substitution to solve all these. I'll do a few of these, and then that'll be it. So let's look at number 1. X minus 2y equals negative 1. Y equals 2x minus 4. So x minus 2y equals negative 1. Y equals 2x minus 4. Make sure I wrote that down right. Yep. There we go. Now, the key to substitution is that I'm going to substitute an expression for one of my variables. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this 2x minus 4, and since it's equal to y in this first equation, what I'm going to do is swap out the y in this, did I say first equation? Second equation. So since we have y equals 2x minus 4, I'm going to swap out the y in this first equation for the expression 2x minus 4, because in the second equation it says y is equal to 2x minus 4. So we go ahead and do that. We go x minus 2. Whoops, let me go to black there. X minus 2. There we are. And then instead of this y, we're going to put in the expression 2x minus 4. And then that has to be equal to negative 1. So what I did is I replaced, some people can see these colors, that's fine. If you can't, no big deal, it's the same thing. I replaced this y up here with the expression 2x minus 4. Now, everything else that stays the same. Be careful when you do this. Make sure that that y that gets replaced with the 2x minus 4. The 2x minus 4 goes inside parentheses so that you can distribute this negative 2 into both terms there. And once you do that, what you'll see is that you get x minus 4x plus 8 equals negative 1. Again, I'm distributing the negative 2 times 2x gives me negative 4x. Negative 2 times negative 4 gives me a plus 8. Combine like terms, you end up with negative 3x plus 8 equals negative 1. Subtract 8 from both sides. If you subtract 8 from both sides, you get negative 3x is equal to negative 9. Then you divide both sides by negative 3. You end up with x is equal to 3. Now, once you know x is equal to 3, then all you do is similar to what we did in the last part of the section. You plug in x equals 3 in the equation, and you guys got to pick one. I'll pick y is equal to 2x minus 4 as the equation I'll plug it into. It's a little bit easier to plug it in to the one that's already in slope-intercept form. Let me create a little bit darker there. Good. And y equals 2 times 3 minus 4, and that means that y is equal to 2. All right? So substitution means substitute out a variable for an expression. Once you do that, notice that at this stage I only had one variable left, so I can solve that linear equation. And then just like we did before, plug in this case, x equals 3 to get my other variable. So the point, which is the solution to this system of linear equations, is the point 3, 2. And you can always check that by plugging it into each equation and see that you get a true statement in each. All right, so let's take a look at this second problem. Y equals x plus 6 and y equals 2x plus 1. All right, so we're going to do substitution once again. And what we're going to do is we're going to substitute this expression. It really doesn't matter which way because we have both of these are already solved for y. Both of these are in slope-intercept form. But what I will do, I guess, is I will take this 2x plus 1. I guess we can put that in red. And I'm going to put that in for that y there. Okay, so the expression, maybe I should put in a different color, but that's okay, darker. So since y is equal to x plus 6, so we have this y here. Over here we have y equals 2x plus 1. So I'm going to take this expression 2x plus 1 and plug it in and replace this y with the expression 2x plus 1. Now, again, you could have done this either way, but that's all right. In this case, I don't even need parentheses because there's nothing to multiply in here. So we get 2x plus 1 equals x plus 6. I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. That's going to leave me 2x on the left-hand side, and then x plus 5 on the right-hand side. Then I'd subtract x from both sides. That's going to leave me with x on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, that's going to leave me 5. So I subtracted 1 from both sides, and then I subtracted x from both sides. I get x plus 5, so I'm just going to plug in that. I'm going to plug in x equals 5 into one of these equations. Doesn't matter which one. Both of them will give you the same answer. I'll choose this one, y equals 2x plus 1. So plug in, whoops. We end up with y equals 2 times 5 plus 1. And that gives me y equals 11. Okay, just do the calculations. 2 times 5 plus 1 is 11. And therefore, the solution to this system of equations is the point 5, 11. And there we go. Again, if you ever want to check this, you can check this by plugging in that point, 5, 11, into each equation and see that it gives you the right answer. Okay, so that is the solution to the system of linear equations in problem number 2. In problem number 3, well, this one we deal with fractions, not a big deal, but we do have fractions there, that's fine. Y equals 1/2 x minus 1, and x plus 2y equals 6. So we go to the problem here, y equals 1/2 x minus 1, x plus 2y equals 6. One of these is in slope-intercept form, one of these is solved for a variable. Oops, I should have done that. Whoops. So we're going to take this 1/2 x minus 1, and since that's equal to y, we're going to plug it in and replace that y down there with the expression 1/2 x minus 1. When I do that, we end up with taking x plus 2 times the quantity 1. Actually, let's make this all black right now. Some of you doesn't matter because that's, again, the colors I'm using don't matter. They're not important, but There we go. So we've taken and we've replaced this y here with the expression 1/2 x minus 1. Make sure that when you do that, you put it in parentheses, because this 2 needs to multiply times both of these terms in order for us to get the equation right. Okay, so we go x plus, now when I distribute this 2, I'm going to get 1x minus 2, and then notice that's equal to 6. We're just multiplying the 2 times the thing inside parentheses. Combining like terms, we end up with 2x minus 2 is equal to 6. When you add 2 to both sides, you end up with 2x equals 8. Divide both sides by 2, you end up with x equals 4. Okay? So x has to be 4. I know the x value of what I'm doing here. And so I'm going to plug in x equals 4 into one of my equations. I'll choose this one. Just to make it easy on myself. Usually it's easier to plug in into the slope-intercept formula. So instead of x, we're going to replace that by the number 4. And so when you take 1/2 times 4 minus 1, you end up seeing that y has to be 1. Okay? 1/2 times 4 is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. So the solution to this system of linear equations is the point 4, 1. Again, as always, you can always check your solution by plugging it back into both the first and the second equation we have and see that you get a true statement in each equation, which we should. So 4, 1 is the solution to that system of linear equations. And that shows you how to do the at-home practice problems in 2,4-D. All right. If you want to take a look at the solutions in problems 4, 5, and 6, go ahead, use the same techniques that I just used in problems 1, 2, and 3, and you'll get the solutions. And if you want to check your answers, obviously there's answers in the back of the book.